we did want to talk about something that we're talking about pre-show.
Yeah.
You can definitely chime in.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure many people have perspectives on it, whether you're very informed or not.
I think that it is important as a writer, as people with platforms, and anything that you do, if you're old enough, if you're a serious thinker, I think that you should spend your time on this earth speaking on subjects that you see that are happening around you.
Yep.
I've used my platforms, my books, my social media, whatever, to talk about during the whole Black Lives Matter movement, during Standing Rock with Native Americans and the Dakota Pipeline, the migrants dealing with the ICE situation in the detention centers where kids were dying and what have you, and all of these subjects. And I think that we are watching genocide right now going on in Palestine. And I'm really disappointed that we're watching it. We support it with our money.
Yes.
We support it with the people that we elect, and I'm part of that. And we're watching them. First of all, we watched the largest open-air prison. We're watching ethnic cleansing. We're watching now genocide. And I'm disappointed that we don't see nothing. We don't say anything. We don't use our platforms to talk about it.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I don't feel like I'm not informed enough is an excuse anymore, because we walk around with a history of the world and all the world's
With
information
everything in your
our
hand.
pocket.
Yeah.
A simple search will bring you information. There's no reason to not be informed, and there's no reason to not have or develop an opinion on the situation.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's really sad. I came in here with a heavy mind because I'm not for colonialism. I'm always going to be on the side of a people or an oppressed people worldwide, globally.
Of course.
The struggle. And I'm really disappointed in what I'm seeing in people. You let Jada Pinkett's name come up and everybody has an opinion.
But this comes up.
My shit lights up. But when you're watching actual genocide, like, it's just funny to me. Like, I feel like we could take our phones and all our technology and go back to the 50s and 60s, and we could have all of that and see people getting blown down the street with hoses and go, well, it's not in my algorithm, so I didn't really technically see it a lot.
Yeah.
We could take it to the 40s, all this technology, and we're watching Holocaust. Well, it's not really in my, I don't know enough about it. We could take it to the 1800s, slavery. Well, it's not really in my algorithm. I don't know enough about it to really speak on it. It's fucking disappointing because we're actually watching this shit
play out
and happen in front of us. So it's really hard. You just open your phone right now. You have to physically turn away from it because you want to
not see it.
Because you have the privilege to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
When it's not happening to you, people tend to care less.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I noticed.
It just annoys me that people are like, well, I'm not necessarily that informed. Like, you don't want to be.
Yeah.
You don't see these people as people, and it makes me wonder why.
See, even when I describe like not being as informed about it, I can still have a whole conversation about it because, bro, even the idea of genocide or, you know, just war, killing, the murder of children, women and children together, it's like you have no perspective on that. Like
y'all see these videos. Y'all not stupid. Y'all see these videos, right?
Yeah, like it's crazy. Even if you're not looking for it or checking for it,
and especially
it comes across.
You got to turn it off. The horror is immediate.
Yeah,
but it's been like that for years,
of course.
But now it's crazy, and we backing it. And you got Biden and our, you know, in my specific community, our parents and our grandparents pressure us, to vote. And to vote Democrat, and we do. And then you get him sit up there and tell them, well, you know, it was the other team, you guys. We're going to fund you $1 billion. But it's the same guy when reparations come up, it's like, we'll bankrupt the country. Word. But y'all just got $1 billion. It's just, I don't know. I think it's very telling when people don't use their platforms to speak on something that they see that is clearly, I don't want to die. And they were like, he never said nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
You didn't see it? It happened in your lifetime. You had nothing to say? No matter what side you're on.
Everybody wants to have,
have nothing to say?
Everybody wants to have a voice when it's convenient for them. But when there's real issues that matter, that are, you know, real situations going on, people are really losing lives, you know, and we're silent. You know, that's the unfortunate part.
There's a TikTok dating coach. Her name's Sadia Khan. She's beautiful. She's Palestinian, and she's does relationship advice. That's what she's known for.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
She had 500,000 followers on TikTok.
Sorry,
and
what's her
about
name?
Sadia Khan, Sadia, then Khan.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she's I know her. She's like I consider her like a colleague. Anyway, she started speaking about what's going on, and her platform got banned.
Of course.
Yes. They're banning. They banned the flag in FIFA, and
believe
so
so.
Irish fans were waving. They were
Yeah, she's
waving
Sadia Khan?
the Palestinian flags.
Yeah. And I think a lot of platformers who have like their livelihoods, I'm just talking about, she doesn't care. She's going to keep speaking about it.
Of course, yeah.
But there's others who have like a huge platform. I know if you guys on YouTube, we got like 500,000 subscribers. That's their livelihood. They got kids and they choose not to say anything controversial because they don't want to risk losing their livelihood. Now, it's kind of like censorship without censorship. So they stay in this safe lane. I know too many people like that who go like, okay, I can speak to it, but what is it going to do? I'm going to have to go back to work. My wife's going to have to go to work and lose everything. So I know a few guys who stay away from anything controversial, trans, anything that can get you canceled because that's their life.
I mean, of course, like just like we spoke earlier, you can, based on certain actions you take, certain things you say, there is the potential chance that you could lose your job, things of that sort. But at the end of the day, like you get canceled if you allow yourself to be canceled. Because look how many people.
It's not real.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a real thing unless you allow it to be.
I will say this. If I'm being completely honest, I understand that people are more like each other than, like, I'm an extreme, clearly, I'm an extreme personality. So I do understand the concept of, safe and just trying to maintain, but I just don't have the mindset for that. Like I think about being remembered. I think about legacy. I think about the end and how I want to be seen and how I experienced the world around me. And I don't want to be those motherfuckers from the past and the black and white stuff that never said nothing, that never did nothing, that just nothing. Yeah. You just never nothing.
Yeah.
You watched all the horror and the atrocities and you had nothing. You were indifferent. I never want to be that person.
Yeah.
You're scared of consequence. I'm just not fearful of things that are just invisible to me.
And you shouldn't be scared for trying to do or say the right thing. And some things need to be heard.
What a terrible way to live.
And for you to censor yourself or just stop yourself in general from speaking what needs to be spoken into the public eye, it's like, well, what are you doing? And I get it. Some people are fearful. They're like, yo, I got a family. I got this and that. I worked hard to get here. The last thing I want is to end up not having anything, being unable to support my family or whatever.
Right.
But you can select how you want to say certain things.
I think that's extreme.
That's the extreme.
That's extreme thinking. You think you're going to live. You think you're going to lose it all for having an opinion on something that is clearly wrong. The loss, like a massacre and stuff, is wrong. You're not going to be under a bridge because you was like, yo, I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's cowardice. Cowardice is offensive to me. You know what I'm saying? I understand safe, but safe turns into cowardice real quick.
Yeah, it can.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand that, and I don't want to be a part of that. I appreciate the platform, you're allowing me to speak on that, but I just never want to be in a position where I never use my platform to speak on stuff.
Voice yourself. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's an important thing that, there's people out there who they do got something to say and they just don't. And, and who knows whatever that word is that person could express could change a lot of things. You never know.
The government charts dissent. You don't think they do. I promise you they do. They chart dissent to get a pulse on the country. Stuff like COINTELPRO and all these other movements that were happening to destroy people movements in the past don't exist if they don't measure dissent. Dissent is a problem. Martin Luther King was not killed for trying to liberate black people. He went all those years doing that stuff and he went untouched. When he tried to organize poor people, that
was a problem.
Black, white, Hispanic, everybody. Now it's a problem. People power, dissent is a problem if you can get everybody to adhere to it. You understand what I'm saying?
See,
so they measure dissent especially on social media now.
And I'm glad you point that out because I think the people who are uninformed, they think that like if you bring up Martin Luther King, they only think about the liberation of black people, right?
Yeah.
But they don't think about what you just said.
Right.
There's a reason for
And
that.
it's like, it's deeper than what you think, right?
He was unpopular even with black people by the time he died.
Mhm.
Even they were tired of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It didn't stop him, but it just goes to show they measure dissent to see what the pulse is. Enough dissents will change their message and their behavior. So for people who feel like, well, I mean, just me talking about it, it's not going to change nothing. That's bullshit.
It can.
It absolutely can. It's the pressure. Pressure allows them to do stuff because usually money makes them do stuff, but pressure allows them to do stuff. If everybody in the world woke up like this and was like, nah, I don't have to take that shit no more. We outnumber them.
Yeah.
They're smart. They measure dissent, and it may change their message. I guarantee you he's going to start walking shit back come election time because he wants to run, but now he's marred
Oh, yeah.
by siding with them, and we're going to see the results of this. Everybody didn't like Nat Turner. Widen the lens. Now you see slavery. He wasn't so wrong. Everybody didn't like Nelson Mandela. Widen the lens. He doesn't seem so wrong. People didn't like Martin Luther King. Widen the lens. After some time, you see they were wrong. Even Muhammad Ali. The world changed around him. He never changed. The lens widened. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just don't want. I just don't want to ever be a part of a platform that doesn't speak to this stuff.
Of course.
So I think it's terrible what's going on, and it's always going on.
Yeah.
And our money pays for that.
It's not new stuff, and it's unfortunate the people who have to suffer through it because a lot of us here are privileged. We don't know what it's like for like war to be declared on our soil, and we're running around, and people are there's a war happening right outside your front door.
Can you imagine?
Like we don't know what that's like.
The concept of you literally have nothing. You have nothing, and then they bomb you every now and then just to.
Yeah, you already live in poverty.
You just have nothing.
And then, boom, there's explosions going on just because, for whatever reason.
And they'll shoot up your funeral, too.
Yeah,
Shits and giggles.
they don't care.
The sad thing, to your point that you're mentioning about being a voice, I think a lot of people, and I see it because I don't comment back to a lot of people in my feed, but I read them whenever I get a chance. A lot of us, not us here, but there's a lot of people have just simply given up. They give up on relationships, women, buying a home, working overtime because it ain't paying for shit.
Jobs.
Food. Why am I gonna have a kid? I can't support them. Why do I want a family? I mean, I want a stay-at-home wife. My $50,000 a year ain't gonna pay for shit. People have given up. Whenever there's an asteroid coming on the news, whatever, do I have to pay my bills? People are ready for the world to end, and
For
that's
sure.
sad in my opinion because there's no fight left.
Yeah.
So to your point, when I see horrible things like that, people just
They don't have
given
that.
up. There's no.
They don't
spirit.
have that fight
They have
in them.
nothing. They feel there's nothing to fight for. They've given up on America. They've given up on our dream, where we're at, the women. They just given up, man. And it's sad.
You're absolutely right. And I think there's another element to that, right? And that's our own. It's stuff that we have allowed to happen to us, right? We sit around in a room and I say, describe a terrorist. Quick.
Yeah.
What you going to describe?
I mean, there's
Somebody who's fighting for their beliefs.
we know
Dog,
we know
we can
you-
be real. If somebody asks us right now to describe it, quick.
Kai Phoenix.
A lot of, hey, but in a way, sure.
Well,
Kai Phoenix
So
with the
when it
turban.
comes to anybody that comes off Arab, we have no sympathy. If you can demonize enough,
Yeah.
you make it okay to hurt you. Same thing what they do with the migrants. That horde that was coming over the border that was going to destroy us, which turned out to be just nothing but women, mothers. It's okay to hurt you now because I've demonized you enough. So what they're
Yeah.
doing in the detention centers where you can't even get soap, they take your kid and you find out after you go back over the border that your kid died in a detention center.
That's crazy.
You can't even imagine how that must feel.
Yeah, because we don't experience
It's
that.
okay to hurt you. We've already demonized you ahead of time.
Yeah.
I think there's giving up and then there's conditioning put together.
The crazy part is like when you say describe a terrorist. Before I could see where, most people would describe somebody who's from the Middle East. That it's so easy to describe it because what is the most recent terroristic experience they have, a 9/11, and then Middle Eastern all over the TV, and this is like terrorist groups and ISIS and all this and that. This is the picture they've been painted, right?
Which is sad, because if you actually think about it, if you gave just a couple seconds, if you ask me what a terrorism situation is, I'm thinking Uvalde.
Yeah,
I'm thinking what just happened in Maine. Oh, nobody's talking. The 22 people just
mass
You know why
shootings.
we don't care? Because they're white.
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
It's like the submarine.
We don't view these white guys as terrorists. It's just not a thing.
And I'm pro black. If it happened to us, if that happened in Atlanta, to predominate, it'd be a problem. But it happened in Maine.
But if you notice the main shooter and then the Vegas shooter, remember back in 2017?
Yeah,
they
the concert.
they tie the white shooter to mental illness.
Yep.
Always.
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 He was alone,
Yeah.
disturbed.
Yeah.
Everybody else is
But
just
they all
a
happen to
fanatic
be the
terrorist.
same like mindset.
Yeah.
With the same weaponry. That's terrorism. That's what I think of when you.
There's always an arsenal.
But a normal person,
know?
if you quick, what's a terrorist? It's going to be a Middle Easterner.
And for us here, I'd be like, oh, look at all these mass shooters. Those are our terrorists. They're continuously killing our own people here. That's not terrorism to you? Like a mass killing of various innocent groups?
It's a conditioning.
Yeah, it's craziness. And my only thing is, and this is something I feel like is not talked about enough, is the way that I'm not saying I don't want our country to help other countries when they're in need, war and things are happening. But I'm like, man, we also live in a country where we're not even fully invested in helping ourselves. Like how long did they talk about Flint, right? At that time.
That's still going.
And
Jackson, Mississippi.
And I'm all like, I'm pretty sure they still don't have
they
drinkable
still don't
water.
have drinkable water. No.
Why is that? Why can't we pump some money in there? Like why don't we take care of ourselves? Like it's not a priority, There's so many things that I think could be improved, just here alone. And I'm like, we just choose not to do it, or our country chooses not to do it.
I think that what people don't want to talk about, because we get money in a capitalistic system, somebody has to be exploited. You have to designate who that's going to be.
Yeah.
And then it's okay for them to be whatever.
Yeah.
Natives, Hispanic, black,
It's like they're
immigrant.
It's like they're disposable.
Certain type of immigrant.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to speak on the things that you see that pull at your conscience.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, talk to me about it. But
some people live in a fantasy world. They forget there's a reality that's taking place out here, and you just don't notice it, especially here where we live, because it's not necessarily directly affecting you. But so for other people, that's not the case. People losing families, they losing their own lives. And nobody speaks on it.
It is happening to you. It just happens to you quiet.
Yeah, in a different way.
Book banning and all of this stuff like that, and shaping of curriculums. They're shaping they're having meetings to shape the way your kids think. That level of forethought that's happening to your family is crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's just sneaky. You see it, but you don't think it affects you.
You might not notice it, but it is occurring.
Yeah, so your kids don't know anything about their own history. On purpose.
Yeah, I think little by little, they're just erasing that. So that way you don't know anything about it.
If I can shape the way I'm not worried about you. You're old news. You'll die soon. But I got to shape the way your kids think.
Yeah, because they're next.
So they go further and further away from your culture, or knowing the truth further and further.